For this Christmas decor DIY, we are going to be using all Dollar Tree. This is the tree that they had. It has a plastic form. We're going to use the cotton yarn that they had, and we're going to use some jute twine. I'm also going to have some burlap, pair of scissors, and your hot glue gun. We're going to make several cotton yarn tassels. You can use regular yarn or cotton yarn. This is cotton yarn, and you'll need a comb that has fine teeth on one side. I've already made about 20 of these tassels, so to show you how I make that, we're going to use our cotton here. The way I make a cotton tassel is using your thumb, hold it here at your pinky, and I call this the 4 fingers. So you got 4 fingers, and you're going to wind that about 12 times on your hand, and you can sit and watch television and make these really quick. So that's about 12 rounds right there. You can actually do 15, which is how I made these fuller ones. When you cut your string, you've got this one here that you've already wound. Take your bundle and the one that you led with, and you're going to wind it just right down below the top there, about a little over 1/2 inch down. Then the one that you had dangling, run it around the other way. Take and tie that together, and I usually just create a knot. So that's my first tie. I'm going to create a knot there, so tie it one more time. Now you have this beautiful little tassel hanging here. Take your scissors and cut your loops. And once you cut all of your loops, take the comb and lay it down, and take the fine teeth and just comb out your yarn. You will have a little bit of cotton fibers, no problem, just toss them aside. You might have one that's a little bit longer, but don't trim off your tassels just yet. So make about 20 of those. Now on your jute twine tassels, I've got some already made, and it's the same concept, except with the jute twine you will use less winds. So holding the string here at your pinky, 4 fingers, you can try to stretch them out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I do 12 on the jute twine and about 15 on the cotton. Once again, I've got it held there, cut that string. Here's my beginning string, and I'm going to bring it up, hold to it, wind it around. Take this bottom one and wind it the opposite way. Then tie them in a knot. Voila, you have your little tassel. Once again, you'll just cut your loops. And on the jute twine, I did not comb them out. You can if you want to, but sometimes they just spray. So I have been leaving them as they are, and it just sprays them out if you want to fray them. I really did not want to. I just want mine to look tousled, so that way they turn up. You'll make about 20 of those or so. Getting your tree, the tinsel is just barely on there, so just find the spot and literally back and forth, and that will let that tassel come off of those knobs. The green is usually somewhere pretty close by the bottom area, and if you search it, you will find its little beginning, and it's just wrapped, and it literally, you can just unwrap it. And on these little pieces, if you pull them off, you can use them for another project. And they just literally are glued on there. Now when you get your tree, you can take your needle nose pliers or a pair of scissors. The pliers work really good, and you can just snap them and they just will pop right off. Just take them and be careful because you don't want to mess up the frame. Okay, now when you get ready to do your burlap, if you'll find an area where it's been cut and pull your string out, that will prevent less spray. So what I'll do is I'll go right here on this place where I just pulled that one string and cut that. So I have this one piece here. Now I've got my tree covered with the burlap, and it looks fantastic just like that. I'm going to be adding my tassels onto my burlap here. Now what I've discovered in working with this, now that I've made my jute twine pieces and they kind of flip out, which is really, really cool. If you turn them like where the loops are facing you, so to speak, you'll notice that the ends on my particular tassel are flipping outward. And if I just lay that model in it, you see what's happening there. It looks like a natural tree, and I really like that effect. So that's basically what my plan is, and I always stage mine before I do anything, and I lay it there. Now I want this to hang over. That's the idea. And so if I just kind of leave them there, and you might want to have your comb handy so that when you get ready to work with your tassels, you can kind of comb them, and that way they'll flower out a little more for you. And as you can see, I do want them to kind of hang over the edge. So when I glue them, they're going to be just like that. And you'll do the same thing. And then this one, I'm going to just bring it over so I can show you how this is ending up. And so when you place that, see how this is going to hang? And that's why you can kind of stage it. That way you'll know how close or how far apart to stage them. Because when it's hanging up, it's going to cascade down. And you're going to see this natural pitch going on. So you do want to glue them into place. Just lay them there. You don't want to tuck them up in there unless that's the look you're going for. So the way I'm going to do mine is I'm actually going to place them to where they're dangling down. And I am going to do my first row and put my jute twine on, following the scale of it, how it's laid out. That way these flip out just the way I want. And you can twist these and turn them if you want. So no big deal. And I'm probably going to put the glue to the twine and just place it onto my tree here so that I'm getting that downward, and I want it to flip out the side there just like that. And you can bush these out once you get them all into place. Right now I'm just focused on gluing them into place and figuring out how many I'm going to need, just in case I have to make more of them. That way if you need to make your tassels with more strands than what we've started out on this cotton one, you'll have to see how many you're going to need to do yours, because all of them will vary. They'll all be different, and that depends on the millimeter and thickness of your tassels and your yarn that you're using. So now I've gotten all of my tassels on my tree except for this upper part, and so have wagered I'm going to just put 3 of the jute twine tassels up there. I think that will look so fantastic, and that just looks really, really good when I was modeling it. And once again, making sure those are flipped out. And that's the center one, and one last one for the side over here. That really looks good. That just looks fantastic. So up here, I think I'm going to put me a star. Okay, I got this tree topper star, that is metal with the spring from Dollar Tree. And I took the spring off of it. I'm going to use that for another project. So we'll set that aside. And I'm going to use some of my metallic antique copper from Folk Art and see if I can't get this to be the color that I'm going for, which is almost kind of like a rusty look. Yep, that's looking pretty good. So now my star is ready, but I'm going to take one of these wooden skews and I'm going to glue it in the back of this star to take some of the pressure off of my star whenever I go to place it in there. So now we have our star on top of our tree. I covered the bottom with some burlap, and I used the edging of the burlap to make my hanger. And then that's so I can hang it up. If not, you can definitely mount this to an easel on the back and set it up, and it would look just stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I really enjoyed making that with you.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, guys. That lets YouTube and me know that you enjoyed it and would like to see more of the like. If you're new to my channel, be sure to read the comments and suggestions. Everyone who subscribes to my channel is considered part of my DIY team, and I welcome you. Until the next DIY, I'll be crafting, y'all. This is Elizabeth. Bye, guys.